I'm back, and I have a Zilby. And the ad break has ended too, which is perfect timing. Yeah, with OBS or Stream Elements or something, I could probably do overlays. Yeah, well, I use OBS on my Windows computer right now. With the Windows computer being the one that I look up to every once in a while. You want to come over here? Ooh, but that blocks the chat. So now I have to find a new place for ZilbyCam. Where should I put ZilbyCam? If I put ZilbyCam down here, is that okay? The other things that I can do is I can experiment with smaller windows. I've seen some other streamers do that, where like the code isn't full screen, but they have other things around it. That could definitely, like a theming type stuff. I just don't know what I would do for a theme. Like, I don't really like construction that much, so like Brooks builds like make sense. There's some things that I don't know if it would like match with Brooks builds, like the name might be confusing to some people, but I could try some anyways. I don't know, but I'll all right, let us continue. So we have I basically need to do this again. No, do I need to get a cursor? I don't know if I need to get a cursor because there's only one object in here. It's not a bunch of things. So I think I just, yeah, because there's just one object count, just one thing. So I need a, okay, I need a read, type in size. Oh, but this assumes that I have a cursor. This assumes I have a cursor. Okay, so let's create a cursor next. I should create a jump file here because I don't think I... Ooh, and a refdel? That's pretty close. We'll create a cursor with the pack file bytes. I guess this goes over everything here. And then I want to get the type. How do I add that? Okay, I forget how to add this to the jump. It opens the jump list picker. I want to say, oh, I save it. Nope, I have to, okay, I have to lock first. Now I can save it to jump list. Okay, got it. And then back up here. Okay, now I'm gonna read, type, and size and hand it the cursor pack file. Hand it the cursor. All you take is a pack file a reader, So that's going to be the cursed pack file, which I named it cursed pack file, but that's not what I want to name it. You should be named, I guess, like pack file cursor. Okay, you're going to give me a result. So question mark yet. Okay, that gives me an object type. So I now should be able to, let's build up our debug. We now have type and size. Oh, okay. It's a blob. It is a blob. Okay, so a blob is a specific file. And the size is 1,311 bytes. Okay. Well, that's cool. Siyash, hello. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. We're working through figuring out how to get a commit, how to clone a Git repo from GitHub, which is interesting. All right, so 1311. Okay, so then I want 1311. So that moved. This is going to be the blob contents. So that's going to be an array. I want this to be a U8. So we're going to start with zeros, and you're going to be 1311. So I need the size, which is going to be type and size, get size, expect size missing from when handling ref delta. Okay. Oh, you need to be... Oh, this needs to be set up at compile time. And I know that at runtime. Okay, so I need this to be a vector. So mute vec, we're just gonna make you a vector. Can I set your size? Oh, capacity. Return, no, reserve? No, oh, I think I could do this with vec new, right? Vec new, no, vec with capacity, that's what it is. Okay, so then we're gonna do type and size, get size, expect missing size. Okay, now you're yelling at me because you don't know what you're going to be, but that's going to be fine. We're about to add that in. So now we're going to do our pack file cursor. We're going to read, and we're going to fill it in with the blob. Ooh, borrow move value type. Value borrowed here after move, because I don't actually need you to hand you to debug. Okay, so we got you. This is good. Pack file cursor, read that. Okay, so then I want to, essentially I want to write file out. You're making a REST authentication system like Auth0, but it will be like a software, not a web app, for offline and online usages. But the fun fact is they don't even know R about Rust. I guess learning while you're doing it will be great. learning while doing is a great thing. I think that's a great idea of going through. Personally, like I'm not like so into authentication that I'm into that kind of thing. But if you're like, if you really like authentication and that's something you're really interested in, then this could be a really good project. And I love Auth0. I think having like more people sort of like try out, like learn Auth0, or maybe even more projects in that space could be really good. So yeah, I think that'd be great. Let's see. Okay, so now I've read everything into Blob. So I then want to save Blob. I think I want to then just save Blob, don't I? How can I learn about the development related things? You mean about Rust, or I assume about Rust, right? Since you don't want to learn about functions and all. I'm not, okay, wait, what? Now I'm confused. So you don't want to learn about like functions, like how Rust works? But you want to use Rust to build like an Auth0 thing. Because the most problematic thing is to write dependencies. I guess I'm a bit confused now about what's the, like, what is this, like a learning project? Are you trying to learn Rust, or are you trying to like build this thing? Because generally speaking, if you want to build something for like actual production, like it's a big thing, but you don't know the technology you're going to, you're either building it for like learning, or you're building it for like prod, like for actual like development, like people to use, like a product. Generally speaking, trying to do both at the same time is asking for trouble, unless you have experience doing that. But I don't want to learn about functions is concerning to me, because functions are a huge part of Rust. I don't think you were going to really get very far without learning about functions. Unless I'm mistaking like what the project really is. Like that's very possible too. I might just be misunderstanding. Okay, so see, actually a thing I know, 1 + 1 or something like a function or loop. As I know the thing about writing these, I will just switch. Okay. So basically, programming in another syntax. So in another, not syntax, in another context, so another language. And now you want to rewrite the thing, like build it over again, but now in Rust, which to me, that's a great idea. That's a great way of learning, because it's a familiar context in a new language. Yeah, that's actually really common. I see a lot of people doing that, especially in like challenge type settings. This is just like making your own challenge, which I think is great, because now you know exactly what you need to do, and you know if it's done or not. Okay, pack file cursor. We read this. We get the blob. You're just doing your projects and switching to Rust. Nice. Yeah, no, that sounds like a great idea. I should be able to save this now, shouldn't I? I should be able to save this. We have the save file, right? We have save to disk. We have the content, which is just a U8, so that's going to be a blob. So we have the blob, and then a path. A path. I need to know target direct. Okay, so target directory, which is here. So target directory. I need to hand that to you. Target directories. This is, do I want to clone this? I've been cloning it. Let's just continue with that. Okay, so you're going to be a path buff. This is going to be our path, which is a path buff. And we hand you a mutable path. So that's going to be our path. You need to be mutable probably. Save to disk. Okay, just return to result. So we'll just question mark you. And then that should save this to a disk before crashing. Okay. What's the chance that this works? Trying to understand things, but love watching me build. Thank you. Yeah, it's obviously this is like near the end of a project, so there's like a lot of context type stuff that is going to be like hard to see, but it's still Rust. Okay, so I did get the not yet implemented. I didn't put like anything in like, hey, I'm about to write this to disk, but theoretically I should be able to now. Yeah, it can't go anywhere because I deleted everything beforehand. Okay, so let's go back to desktop. I go to get sample 3, go to get, you're supposed to be a get directory. So I put this into desktop get sample 3. Okay, let me try this again. So that's we're gonna what did I do? I remove get sample 3. And then a cargo run clone to get sample 3. Okay, so if I do that, get sample 3. There's no get. Oh, there's no get here. Oh, well, that will cause a problem. Okay. So initialize get directory is didn't work. But I could swear it worked before. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong here. Okay, so we have init here. Here's our print line for initialize the directory. I take in a path and I push.get onto it. So first things first, let's debug what this path is. So I'm concerned that it's the path of where I am and not desktop get sample 3. No, look at that. Okay, path equals users, Brookzerker, desktop, get sample 3. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want it to be. Okay, now if I do an rm-rf, okay, get sample 3 is gone. That's good. So I should be able to cargo run this. So cargo run clone get sample 3 to get sample 3. So if I do that, here's get sample 3 now, get sample 3. It doesn't think it's not a get repo. Okay, so now the path that we got out of here, so from init, line 4, users, bookseeker, desktop, get sample 3. Okay, that's exactly what I want. I push in a path get. So can you see this? Sort of. Just right above. It's like this stuff you can't really see because it's below Zilby. It makes me wonder if I should do this and pull you up. I can do that. I have some dead space down here, which I guess I could fill with some messages or something else. It's a little bit too bad because I feel like you're losing some space where like I can actually have with code. But if I lose the space, then it I guess it like we're all even, right? Okay, so we start with get sample 3 and then we add in .get. Okay, that makes sense. And then I create the directory and now I do unwrap here, but it's not crashing. Or is it? Thread main panicked on main RS line 53, result unwrap on an error value, no such file or directory. Uh-oh. So it might be one of these. Error creating .get directory. So let's just one by one find these until we figure out what it is. Okay, so it's still no such file or directory, so that's not that one. Then I create objects and I push objects to our path. And we're going to create objects. Then we're going to create refs. And then we're writing head info to refs. I expect it's one of these. Oh. Not yet implemented. Wait a second. But if you're not yet implemented, how is this not working? That should have a .get in it. Why doesn't it? I'm concerned. Why? No, don't do this to me. Did it like not save a bunch of stuff? Okay, wait, this time it was different. Because I forgot to do the remove. No. Okay, what's going on with this? So, do I have a race condition somehow? Maybe I do. Okay, the thread main panicked. So that's line 53, which is on clone. That makes sense. Result unwrap on an error value. So one thing I can do is I could just go to where I have all the unwraps and just say, fine, unwraps, you all become expecs now. Error decompressing. This is error. Should oh, this is a test. I don't need any in a test, do I? The test unwraps are fine. So you're in a test, you're in a test, you're in a test. You're not in a test. This isn't main though. So this is error hashing object or error running hash object. I guess try adding a test that after cloning the directory gets checked for .git file. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do that. I'm still confused about like why this one didn't do it. Or which unwrap it's I was really hoping like normally unwraps still give me the line number that's going on, but I guess the way I wrote this, it's just giving me the main line number, which is not helpful. Okay, so clone. So error running clone command. Oh, you think the issue is I'm using the question mark operator somewhere in the clone. Also, hello, Japfo. That's probably what it is. It's the question mark operator that auto bubbles up the errors. Oh, I need to handle it earlier to like get a message in, I guess. Or it's like, it's not, I'm not getting, no such value or directory. Yeah, okay. This is the problem of just using something like anyhow. Yeah, if you're using anyhow, I recommend using context with that whenever you use the question mark operator. I can't remember, does error give context by default? Because I could swear that I normally got context when I did question mark. So I wonder if error does that for me. But because we're using anyhow this time, I'm not used to that. That's probably a good idea. That's a probably good idea. Yeah, so let's add that in. Let's continue on with this. There's no more unwraps here. So test, 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 test. error creating folder, which, yeah, okay. So I love that I put YOLO in here. That's fun. That's fun. Okay, no more there. Test, 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 test. Okay, then you're next. Now, you're actually... How did I get Zilby hair in? Okay, because I carried him up with me, I guess. Or down with me. All right, let's try this. Since I'm in something that returns a result, and it's an anyhow result. Can I do, okay, context, and then question mark. It's that order, right? It's a dot context and then question mark? Or is it, no. What do you want? Expected and, oh, so this is like expect then. So I can just do this, like error, what am I doing here? So I'm getting the metadata, creating the metadata, error getting directory metadata. That's what it is. Okay, that's cool. So if anywhere where I have first of all, get unwrap. None of those. Okay. And then, oh, this is not going to be fun. I'm going to do them one at a time then. Okay. Let's continue with this first. Test. Street. You don't return. Okay. Expect. You're opening a file. Okay, so error pushing file name. Okay, so that's all view. So all the ones in utils are test now, I think. And cat file. Okay, so cat file is the last one. So error opening file. So this is error opening file for preprint. Oh, okay. Error extracting. Okay, no more of those. So now, and then no more of those. Now I should be able to do a global search for anytime I have a question mark. Okay, so here we are in utils, for example. It's not always going to be on a closed parentheses, right? Because sometimes it might be after and a wait, which sucks. And it might not also follow this. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so anywhere where I have to just manually search for this. So we're gonna do context, and this is gonna be error write all compress. Now I guess we know we can limit some of our things that we're looking for to things that we know is coming from clone. Specifically, okay, so we're not doing question mark in init. Create directory is working, but we can do this. So we can do context error creating directory. By the way, what are the plugins I'm using for Rust? Plugins? You mean like extensions for the editor, or like the crates that I'm using in this project? Oh, NeoVim plugin. So this is not NeoVim. This is Helix, which is an editor that's similar to NeoVim. It's a little bit simpler. It's also in alpha, beta. It's pre-release. So it's not fully there yet, and so therefore there's no plugin system for it. The what is it called? The editor, the LSP that I'm using is Rust Analyzer, and so I believe that if you install Rust Analyzer with NeoVim and maybe Rust formatting tool for NeoVim, you should get everything you need. But it's been a while. We did it like early last year. We did some stuff with Rust Analyzer with Rust with NeoVim, but I forgot everything that we did. So that doesn't help. Oh, you have okay. So I've never done NeoVim with Copilot, so I can't help you with that. It's fun when the bots fight, right? Okay, so I guess we'll add into all of these wherever we have a question mark. We'll add in a context. So context error. I guess I could just say context is like create directory. Oh, I literally already. Yeah, that would have been fun. Twisted Seed, hello. How are you doing today? Rust suggestions plus Copilot fighting for attention. Oh, that's fun. We did try Copilot back when it was in beta, when it was, I got into the beta and it was free to use. And we tried it for a little bit and it was not very good with Rust. I would assume it's gotten better because it's been like 2 years since then, but it's also, you know, they charge now for it. So I'm not going to pay for it. I don't really feel that I'm going to get the value for like what, $10 a month, however much it is. Okay, what was I doing again? Oh, right, we wanted to remove, and then we can cargo run this again and try it again. Now, this is interesting. So sometimes it works, and we get to this not yet implemented. Why is that? You found that Copilot adds triple quotes in Rust code. Triple backticks or triple quotes? So like if it does something like, oh, like that kind of stuff in here, these, I know what that is. Okay. So in Rust, it is, you can do triple comment there, so triple backslash, and then this becomes a documentation. This is documentation comment, and then you can. This is legal to use Markdown in. So I can just say like, hey, like clone, clone function. I could put in like a double. This will clone a repo to the local disk. And then if I use triple backticks, it assumes that it's Rust code, so I don't need to like write Rust or anything. And I can now just write code. So I can say something like, I want to call clone. I want to hand it, oh, Zilby's gone. I want to hand it a URI. So like, HTTP github.com/blah, whatever. And then target directory. So like, blah, like that. We're going to await and question mark that. And when I build the docs, well, when I run the tests or I build the docs, it will attempt to compile this code. The actual Rust compiler will attempt to compile this code. If it fails to compile, it will not build the docs, which is how, if you read the official docs, if you see any code examples, you know that they must work for that version of whatever it is that you're looking at. So it's really cool. I could definitely see that there's a problem here, which is that this is now in a source code, right? It's just documentation's in here with the actual code, and now Copilot knows that this is real code. It sees this probably a lot. So it probably thinks that this is valid. And so it just going to throw it into your code because it thinks that that's like, hey, this is how it works. So yeah, that totally makes sense. And that's going to be tough to train out of it, because the source data that it's going to take it in from is not about to lose that. Like, we're not going to remove documentation just to make it better for Copilot. That's silly. You should never update your stuff for a tool. You should always update your tool for the stuff. People come first. Okay, so anyways, how do we get this? A quote. Yeah, I guess so. I don't have like a quote system. So I'm getting back to this not yet implemented. So that means let's now I do have this to do here. I saved the disk, so that's this is our file hash. Which is a vacuv8. I guess I'll just return. I don't actually know if I need to return this. Let's just return like that. So that saves. If I run you again, there we go. Okay, so error running clone command. No such file or directory. Okay. Now, error running clone command. So if we search for that. Now that is the one we put into main here. So error running clone command. So if we have to go backwards to find somewhere where we have a question mark in here without a context. So there's the create directory. So we didn't see create directory, right? Just no such file or directory. In it, I believe we've thrown an expect onto everything here. So it's not that. Also because it was a question mark. So it's somewhere with a question mark in here. Okay, so we have discover references. So context. Okay, I'm not seeing. Okay, so do I have another? Where? Okay, so there's you. So with context, what are you? You're handling normal object type. Handling normal object type as tree. So this is as commit. This is tag, right? Yeah, tag. We haven't seen any of those yet. That doesn't do anything. So this just crashes it because it panics. And this does the actual thing. We can add in a context here. So this is handling ref slash hash delta. And then we have our unreachable. And then I think, okay, so let's try this again. Oh, okay. So handling ref hash delta. Okay, so that context is starting to help and letting us dig deeper a little bit. Do you think I'll be good if you take JavaScript, TypeScript together with Rust? Tell me more. What do you mean by like together with Rust? Are you trying to like run Rust from JavaScript, TypeScript? Or the other way around, like run JavaScript, TypeScript from Rust? Or yeah, like how would they work together? Because obviously running Rust in the browser is not impossible, but you have to compile Rust into something like WebAssembly, and then you can call it from JavaScript, TypeScript, but there's some glue stuff you have to do to make that work, unless you're using like a framework of some kind. Okay, so handling ref hash delta. So handling ref hash delta. So okay, so we know that it's happening in here. So now we want to find, you don't need to be mutable. Okay. Now we want to find anywhere where we're using this. So we're gonna do context. This is gonna be reading. Okay, so reading hash from cursed pack file. You are getting commit from cursor. This is creating pack file metadata. Reading type and size. Context, this is, okay, so reading blob. Ooh, you need to be in a quote. Reading blob data. Ad break starting in 5 minutes already? That does not feel like it's been an hour. Time flies when we're having fun, right? Saving to disk. Okay. So we have some more information here. Let's try this again. Let's see. Okay, like till now, I was a full stack dev with JavaScript and TypeScript, but he wants to use Rust for your backend. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely yes. So you're a full stack dev, so you sort of like understand how your front end is separated from your back end, and you're just using those API requests from the front end, from like somebody's browser, which is somewhere in the world, to your server, right? So that server doesn't really matter what technology it is. You can just make that whatever it is, whatever you want. And there's several choices for servers in Rust that you can choose from that are quite good. I'd say the most popular right now, and by popular I mean like used in the wild, like in the world, would be Actix Web. And then Axum is also pretty high up there. It is, however, updating quite quickly, and it's not 1.0 yet. If you're doing something that's like a learning project, Axum is a great choice. If you're familiar with something like Express, then Axum is like right up your alley, because it feels like Express if you've worked with it. Obviously, it's Rustified, so it's not like, you know, one-to-one, but it's very simple, and in the same way that Express is very simple. Plus, it works with Tower. It works with Tower middleware in almost the exact same way that Express works with Connect middleware. So if you like sort of know that entire ecosystem, it is a fairly easy mental model to wrap our heads around. What does git commit do? Git commit, I believe it does a request to the server and then gets this stuff. So it actually, like, I thought it was a commit they were getting, but apparently it's really git pack file. So it does a request and says, I want this commit, this hash thing. So previously it was like, give me this commit, and it gives me a pack file with that commit in it. And now apparently it's different. The hash that you got earlier is already in the pack. Interesting. Huh. Also, apparently, I now need to update all of these to be the same size. Why can't I resize you? Okay, there I can. Oh, so it's in the pack as a blob. Interesting. Why? Wait, so does that... Huh. If it's in the commit as a blob, why are they also getting me it again as a ref? Or as a delta? That feels weird. I wonder then if I could just switch. Okay, hold on. So if instead of doing this, okay, so wait a second. So the first one I get is the first 20 bytes are the header, which with information about what I want to get. And then I can get another 21 bytes huh. So if I take the header and then it's this is a hash because it's a ref delta. Maybe I can just skip this. Okay, so let's I'm not gonna delete everything. We're just gonna comment you out because that's good programming. And let's move the cursor. So if I cursed pack file, oh, ad break just started. So sorry if you get a an ad. Now I want to set the position of the cursor, but that set it like I want to just move it to the right. I want to read, but I don't really care what I read. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's move we'll call this ignoring because we are ignoring it. You're going to be a U8, so 0, and then I want this to be 20 plus 21, right? 20 plus 21. I think that's right. You're planning for a streaming setup without FaceStream or something. What do I say? I mean, I say it's fine. It's, I guess if you want to get into streaming, one of the things to ask is like, why? Like, why do you want to get into streaming? And it's, there's going to be a ceiling that you can get to if you don't show your face. But if the why isn't like growth for that kind of thing, but is for something else, then like, okay, so like for example, Museum doesn't do a microphone and doesn't do a face cam. And Museum has like 45, 50 or so viewers at like, any one time, generally speaking. So I think like that, I would guess that that's around the cap that you would get without that. Togglebit, for example, can have hundreds of people watching. CM Griffin can have hundreds of people who are watching. I'm not up there right now. There's I think the stuff that I do is also not necessarily conducive for lots of people come in and watch, but also there's things I can do to maybe like attract more of an audience. That being said, if you want to get started with it, then yeah, just like get started, and then you have to like decide what your limits are later on. Because like if it's, oh, I want to get more people, or I want to like chat with them, and people aren't like wanting to chat without seeing you, that could be, it's something you'll have to like decide at that point in time. Isitsu. Well, have a good break. But it's absolutely correct. The learning curve with the community is amazing. That's really good. I first learned Rust on stream, and that was really nice because there's people that know what they're talking about who jump in and help out, which is huge.